Hi, PAD 744. I wanted to talk a little bit about two subjects, both of them related to the final memo. I wanted to talk about the final memo itself and what it involves, and then I also just wanted to talk about some comments I had about some of the preparatory work for the final memo that has been posted on the discussion board. A lot of it's really good, some great charts, but I just wanted to talk to you about ways to improve it and also about the memo. So the final memo, for the most part, can be about the New York City participatory budget. And that was the idea behind giving everyone in week 7 an opportunity to analyze both the financials, some aspect of the financials, and some aspect of the whole process of budgeting, looking at the politics, the stakeholders, the history, the current events. You could look at it as an overview of the entire process for the city. You could look at specific districts. You can compare districts. There were evaluation reports. So there was a lot there. And the idea was to start understanding this process and this budget in preparation for a final memo. And I've been asking you to do memos. I know there's been some difficulty with that because people are not used to the format. There are definitely several handouts about how to write a memo. But the idea of it is to decide who you are, who you as the author are, and then who are you going to write to, and what is the subject that you would like to address. So would you like to be an advisor to one of the council people and say to them, I've done an assessment of your district and have some ideas on how to improve the process? Or would you like to be a citizen writing to other citizens, or a citizen writing to the city council? Or would you like to be a council person writing to your citizens, or a student writing to other students? It's all up to you to decide who you are as the author and who you want to write to and what is going to be your recommendation. And the recommendation and the subject of the memo should be right there on the memo under the subject. It should be like a headline, like in the daily news where, they tell you exactly where it's going, like participatory budgeting in District 33, recommendations to improve, or participatory budgeting, overall success needs to address participation issues, or whatever the critical factors that you think it needs to be addressed. Then when you write the memo, the first paragraph is a summary of your conclusions. And a lot of times you might start out thinking you know what the conclusions are going to be, and then you write the memo, and then at the end you come up with the conclusions, and then maybe you need to go back and redo that first paragraph because you came up with different conclusions. Remember, all stories start with once upon a time. So once upon a time something happened. Here's some financial information about what happened. Here's some other history. Here are the current events. Here's what happened last year or 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And now here is my conclusions about ways to improve this, or what went wrong, or how we should congratulate ourselves on the great job we're doing. And then once you have that idea, you go back to the beginning and you make sure that's there. And you try and be as action-oriented as possible. And the idea is in the memo to include headings and subheadings, so when the person reading it talks to someone else about it, they don't have to just say, I don't know where it is on the page. You can say, oh yeah, it's on page 2 in the section on analysis of fiscal or participatory budget year 5. So you need to have headings, and ideally you have some bullet points so that they're not reading paragraphs. You've kind of succinctly thought about the salient issues and gave people bullet points. So, and please also show citations and quotation marks if they're not your own words. So that's the exercise for the final project